Hello and welcome to Shoot the Work, Lewis and Jason.
Yep, that'd be Lewis and I'd be Jason, and we're back for another episode of Shoot the Work. What we got today, Lewis?
So we have got tag teams.
Tag
Um,
teams.
yeah, we're going to be discussing all things tag teams from not just in WWE but across wrestling as a whole. What different companies are doing right, what could be improved with certain companies. And just taking a look at the state of tag divisions as a whole. Um, but yeah, I think the best place to start is probably the one that we'll have the most to talk about, and that's WWE. Their tag division at the moment, it's in a weird place just now. I think it's part of the reason that we wanted to do an episode about it, just because I don't know, it's weird. The division is really thin. It feels like at the moment, like they have a few good teams there, but in terms of kind of storylines and things like that, they're not doing great just now.
Yeah, there isn't really a tag team division that though there's supposed to be two, one in each brand.
Yeah.
Um,
Three
Three
if you
if you
count
count
NXT.
NXT. Oh, yep. Well, we just tag teamed that delivery there, but there we go. Um, yeah, there's maybe three. There's only really one that's relevant. I would say NXT. The other two, it's not really a division. It's just a bunch of matches. With like for me zero story behind them. Um,
Yeah.
y- there's a lack of tag teams in general. Just across the whole company, and for
Yeah.
me, it makes for a bunch of repeat matches that we've looked at. Even outside the tag team, we've mentioned that WWE have loads and loads of repeat matches. You see the same guys fighting over and over and over again, and that this is exactly the same for tag teams. Just look, how many times did you watch Cesaro and Nakamura beat the Lucha House Party?
Oh no, it was so strange because I remember somebody I can't remember who it was, but somebody tweeted about this when Cesaro and Nakamura won the SmackDown tag titles off of the New Day. And then obviously the whole thing was that Kofi was injured and Big E was going off on his singles run. And at the time, Xavier Woods was still out with his injury. And somebody had tweeted about it and they were like, who have they got to face? Like, now that the New Day's out the picture, they're not going to be re challenging for it. Who on SmackDown? Cesaro and Nakamura, not a real tag team, by the way, because they were just thrown together. Who is it they've got to face other than Lucha House Party? Which then we then saw them face Lucha House Party for about 5 weeks running, and it was like, well, that doesn't. Why do you have no tag teams on SmackDown? That just doesn't make any sense.
My biggest bugbear out of the tag teams is that the very few tag teams that you've got, you split up heavy machinery. Like why you doing that? Like I know
Yeah,
Otis is he out of the two, he's the popular one, and they want to like use that popularity and push it. But then you've just split up a tag team, which you have like three in the whole company. So why are you
yeah.
doing that? Like Otis as well is that I was like, oh, he's popular. They want to push him. I understand that. Not really pushed him since.
Yeah, they broke them up to take the money in the bank off of them, and then they've done nothing with either one of them since. It's, it's just it was totally pointless for to break them up because neither one of them have done anything. They've not had a match with each other. They barely had matches with anybody else, and the one match Tucker had, he lost to Ricochet, I think.
Yeah, and was did he not come down the ring? I don't even think he had entrance music. He had black trunks on. He was literally Mr. Nobody, Mr. No personality. It was really
Yeah,
weird.
he was like you ever played the game where you're creating your own wrestler and you like hit the random button and it's like this really basic weird looking wrestler. That's what he looked like. It was it was so strange. I don't understand why he like had his hair down and everything. Oh, it's just weird. But yeah, so I mean, the SmackDown tag division is really, really lacking. But so the Raw one wasn't much better. You had the Street Profits at the time. Obviously, the New Day beat Cesaro and Nakamura to win the titles back, and then they've swapped brands now. But yeah, it was really strange, I thought, because I mean, as well, it's just I feel like the answer to all the WWE's problems when it comes to the tag division, and it's so simple, is just combine the divisions,
Well,
unify the belts, and make it one full tag division
there's
across
the
the two
thing.
brands.
There's the thing. Like that's a great idea because like normally I'm all looking at the other side of like maybe it would be good if you split them or like playing devil's advocate, so to speak. But no, they need to be combined as one division because you've got about 5 tag teams in the whole of the company. So
Yeah,
combine them together, and you've maybe got a division there. And you missed the perfect time because everybody complained and moaned about that segment where the Street Profits and New Day swapped the titles. They just gave each other the belts.
yeah.
Like have at Survivor Series, have a winner takes all match. You know what I mean?
I mean, the thing is, personally, I disagree. I don't think Survivor Series would be the time to do it, only because Survivor Series is the whole like champion versus champion thing. So then, if you're having every other champion face their respective champion on the other brand, I think having a unification belt sort of sets a bit of a precedent that then it's that match is then inherently more important than the rest of them because
Yeah.
it's unifying the belts. I feel like unifying the belts, they've been separate for that long now that I feel like that could be a WrestleMania.
Hmm.
But do you know where they should have unified the belts? When they should have done it was WrestleMania 34, where the Hardys came back. When
Yeah.
the Hardys came back, they should have unified the belts then, and I'll tell you for why. Right. So you had all the major tag teams that were popular at the time were in that match. You had the Bar, you had Enzo and Cass, you had the who else was in it? The Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, and then obviously the Hardys came down. What I would have done is have a 5-way tag with the New Day in that match as well, and have both belts, both tag team belts on the line. They're going to unify them there. The Hardys come out and they win it because the whole storyline leading up to that was that the Hardys went to every single company. They went to Ring of Honor, Impact, all these different companies, and were winning all the tag belts. In every company, they were winning all the belts. So then they then came to WWE, but they only won the Raw belts. They won the red ones, but not the blue ones. And then it was just like, nah, it
Mm.
would have been a lot cooler if they
Yeah.
won both, unified them, and they were the champion of all tag teams. That would have
Yeah.
been really cool.
Well, that's the
Uh,
thing as well, is even if you don't go with the winner takes all, you could at least build the story on like they got told to swap the belts, Street Profits and New Day. You could be like, nah, I win these belts. The red belts are my belts. I'm not giving you my red belts. Like
yeah.
these are my blue belts. I'm not giving you my blue belts. Let's fight, and the winner takes all the belts. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, because I would have even been happy with them doing it, um, after the draft and stuff with them swapping the belts. I would have been happy for them to be like, no, well, we'll just have a match. Because obviously, see, especially after Survivor Series, because I think if memory serves, the Street Profits won
Mhm,
the Survivor Series match.
mhm.
So even if it would be well within the realm of possibility that the New Day would be like, yeah, well, but we kind of want to face them again because we're a legendary tag team and they're not. They shouldn't have beaten us. And have it that they want to face them again
Yeah,
and then do the unification match after Survivor Series.
yeah,
And I mean, I would say for me, New Day really should win that because it's the New Day. They are the sort of biggest tag team in the last 10 year. So I'd say you probably should put it on them. At least, sorry, the last 10 years in WWE anyway. Yeah, I'd say they really should get the belts to unify them. They deserve that. But yeah, I think it would make more sense in WWE to just unify them because their tag division isn't diverse enough to have two full divisions because they don't have two full divisions. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, what you could probably do as well is like make the whole tag team division exciting. You know what I mean? You could unify them if you want. And then what I would do is it might be harder to do because of COVID, but I would take tag teams from everywhere, like absolutely everywhere you can. So from like Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, you could have like a big tournament. Like who's going to be my next challenger? Because it's just me. It's just Street Profits and New Day. So bring everybody in, and you could have a surprise winner. You know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe like somebody from NXT UK is versing them. You know what I mean?
I think if we're talking about where how they would do it from here, because obviously I know you asked me there and I said, oh well, they should have done it years ago. But in terms of from here, how they could do it, personally, I think the Dusty Rhodes Classic's the way to go.
Well, yeah, that sort of format,
Yeah,
definitely.
but I mean that specific contest, the Dusty Rhodes Classic, instead of getting a shot at the NXT belt tag belts, they get a shot at the, say for example, if it is still the Street Profits in the New Day, set it up the whenever the Dusty Rhodes Classic is, say they do it in the next couple of months, set it up that at WrestleMania the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Classic tournament will be in a three-way tornado tag match with the Street Profits and the New Day, and they'll unify the belts. And if it's not going to be the New Day, do you know who I would love to see do that? The Undisputed Era. Have that be their call-up. Have the call-up be Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, because Kyle O'Reilly is on fire right now. And the whole Undisputed Era, they're all great, but I feel like they've sort of run their course in NXT now. It doesn't seem like they've got much for them, which is why they're, fighting Pat McAfee.
Look, I'm sorry, right? How good is Pat McAfee on the mic, though?
I don't like him. But I mean, I think he's a douche, but then I'm supposed to think he's a douche, yes. So he is effective in that sense, but
he's great on the mic.
I tell you this, he's better in the ring than he has any right to be.
Well, yeah, and that just shows you the whole shock thing between him and Adam Cole when you are like, oh my god, I can't believe he did that in an interview. It was a goddamn shoot.
Oh no, it was a work. It was a work.
Oh no, it was a work. It was a work.
They shot us into a work. They shot us there. I was so, because I remember you and me talking about this on the phone, and I was convinced that this was real. I was adamant. I was like, nah, there is no way he'd be dropping so many F-bombs and freaking out the way that he did. There is no way WWE would do that. There's no way. I would have thought it was a work if it wasn't for the fact that he was swearing so much and he reacted the way that he did.
Yeah.
And it was a goddamn work. They worked me. They worked me like a full goddamn mark.
Yep, that is the definition of shooting the work. That is honestly, like, I was phoning you going nuts, like, oh my god, Adam Cole just flipped his shit. Like, I was like, he did this live on air. And yeah, work. God damn it.
But yeah, so I think, to be honest, I think the way that they should build the tag division, because I know you mentioned there as well about NXT, and don't get me wrong, right? NXT's tag division is a lot better and a lot more what's the word? Diverse, I guess. Like a lot more. There's a lot more depth to their tag division than there is in the main roster. But at the same time, there isn't much more with NXT. Like, NXT has a few really good tag teams.
Yeah. But them alone with the Street Profits in the New Day,
the Street Profits and the New Day, they have a lot of depth to their tag division. Like, NXT has a few really good tag teams. But them alone with the Street Profits and the New Day, they have a lot of depth to their tag division. Like, NXT has a few really good tag teams. But them alone with and whoever, like the Cesaro, Nakamura, and Lucha House Party, all of them together could build one division. Because the problem as well with what the state of affairs in WWE's main roster just now is that they literally have two tag teams,
Yeah.
and they're the two champions on either brand. Because Lucha House Party, they're not doing anything. They lost 5 weeks in a row, and they split Kalisto up from them, so they're not even all together now. Nakamura and Cesaro, I refuse to accept them as a credible tag team. You've got the Hurt Business, but they've never shown any interest in the
I
tag
know. I love
belts.
the Hurt Business, but yeah, you could have them splitting into that. But like, you could have like MVP being with Cedric Alexander. Like, I would never have Bobby Lashley as part of the tag
And
team.
even Shelton Benjamin and
Oh,
Cedric
yeah,
Alexander,
yeah,
they'd be
yeah.
great.
Mhm.
And them versus the New Day, I think, would be a really good dynamic because obviously their whole sort of thing um, is being black. So, which the New Day have been very kind of like very vocal advocates of that sort of thing as well.
Yeah. The thing is, as well as like
Obviously,
what.
you don't want to lean too much into that sort of storyline, but I just mean it would be an interesting dynamic that the two teams hold the same sort of values, but
Oh, no, knowing WWE, they're very big on dates. They would do it on February because it's Black History Month. That's exactly when they would do that. The-
yeah, probably.
yeah, the thing is, well, I know what I'm saying is that the actual, because we're saying that tournaments make things exciting and bring viewers into divisions again, is that bring all of them in. Like, I don't mean they have to then be on Raw or SmackDown afterwards, but just to fill up the numbers in the actual tournament, because you've got, like, even in NXT UK, you've got grizzled young veterans, and you've got is it Absolution? Is that what they're called? The one with Walter is the main guy.
Imperium.
Imperium, that's it. Absolution.
Absolution was Paige's tag team.
So it was.
So you develop Mandy Rose.
Yep. So then you could throw a page in there. No, but no. Honestly, just other big word that I don't know what it means. Other guys. Yeah, Imperium. You could have them in as well because they are really good as a tag team.
See, NXT UK have their own tag belts. So, but I mean, the thing is with NXT UK, I personally I don't like doing cross-brand storylines with NXT UK and the rest of them just because they are so separate. And because, see, especially just now, they're not going to be able to do that properly anytime soon
No.
with the travel restrictions and
Yeah.
stuff. So
I agree.
I don't think it's a good idea to bring them over just now, apart from obviously the ones that you've got there, like Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan and, guys like, I can't remember who else, Pete Dunne's over there, over in America.
Yeah, it's Pete Dunne and Danny Burch. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, and I think with NXT UK as well, they're the same as NXT, where their division has enough depth to run on its own. I don't think they need to be involved in the rest of it. But what my original suggestion was when I did the article, but a cheap plug. I did the article about how WWE should book the draft.
Yeah.
And within that, what I'd said about the tag teams was that they vacate both the belts and just not both, all three of the belts. So they vacate all belts, the like tag divisions. And what I would do is have any tag team that wants to challenge can be a tag team regardless of what brand they're on. So it means like the likes of the New Day don't need to split up because nobody wants the New Day to split up, and they're not even really split up. They're still friends. So you can have Biggie and Kofi and Xavier are on Raw. Biggie's on SmackDown, but Biggie can go to Raw and tag with the New Day. Do a tag team match. It doesn't matter what brand you're on. You can be a tag team with people from other brands. And I think that would help sort of build more tag teams as opposed to throwing together ones. Because I mean, you even look at, like, for example, the way that AEW do it. because WWE have this habit of just throwing together two guys that aren't really doing anything, calling them a tag team and expecting them to be taken seriously. They do it all the time. But you look at across the waters at AEW, for example, who they had a thrown together tag team in Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, and they held the tag belts for ages. They beat SCU and held them right up until FTR beat them. They were a thrown together tag team, but there were two guys at the top of their game. There were two guys who, either one of them, if they won the world title the next night, nobody would bat an eyelid. It would be expected of them. I mean, you look at Kenny Omega, went straight from that to winning the world title. So I think that's the way to do it, is you take two guys who are really good on their own, put them together. Don't just throw Cesaro and Nakamura, because neither one of them's got anything better to do, and expect me to take them seriously as guys who can beat the New Day. It's just, it doesn't make any sense.
The thing is, I think NXT need to have their own tag belts. I just do. Like, they're not quite on the same sort of level. They're still slightly separate for the other two. They're not quite there yet. They're classed as the third brand, but I don't think they're right there yet.
See, I don't know, because the thing with NXT is, I think if they're not going to unify the NXT belts with the Raw and SmackDown ones, they need to take a few of the tag teams and move them up to the main roster quickly, because even if they did unify the Raw and SmackDown belts, there's still not a whole lot of tag teams to fight. There's the Street Profits and the New Day, and then if they did bring the Hurt Business, which they have that option to, then okay, that's fair enough. But who else have you got? You can't have a division with three teams. You would need to bring like the Undisputed Era, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, bring them up. But then again, you're leaving NXT running a bit thin there. That's the only reason I thought unify all three belts. But
because in normal circumstances, we're all thinking normal circumstances, but COVID is not normal for any sport or event that's on right now. And usually what would be happening is they'd be training people up in the background that we've never even heard of or never even seen, and they're ready to slide them into NXT. But I don't even know how that works right now. You know what I mean? Because you could move people over from NXT, and usually people are there to kind of slide underneath them. But I don't even know how that works right now. The other thing as well is, I think an interesting dynamic, even for a short period of time, it would almost be like an Omega Hangman Page, is the Sheamus and Drew McIntyre tag team. I kind of like that.
See, I don't know. I don't like the idea of having the world champion also win the tag belts, just because I feel like, I don't know. Anytime they've done it before, they've basically just used it to build a rivalry, which I get that it works sometimes. And I think actually with McIntyre and Sheamus, it would be an example of a time where it would work. And I wouldn't be totally against that. But in the past, whenever they've done it, like with Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman, they won the tag belts to set up their sort of match that they were going to have. But you shouldn't. I mean, at the end of the day, these are championship belts. And also, as far as being in a tag team, if you're in a team, that's your world title. That's your main focus, is the tag belts. And I feel like when you put it on a world champion, it makes it just feel like a prop. It really diminishes their value. Because I think it was FTR were talking about it. They were talking about it in an interview, and they were saying, like, neither one of us are ever going to be world champions, and we don't want to be singles world champions because we're a tag team. The tag belts are our world championships. That's what we want. And I think that's a really good sort of attitude to have, is don't have them, being world champion single stars. You if you're going to do that, break up the team, vacate the belts or lose the belts and break up the team. I don't like the idea of using them as props, personally, because like I say, I think the biggest thing is it totally devalues them, and it makes it seem like they're not as important. I mean, we spoke about it before, where like the Intercontinental Champion or the United States Champion will challenge for the world title, but then the world champion doesn't say, right, okay, but only if you put your belt on the line.
Yeah.
If you're telling me that guy doesn't care about it, why am I going to care about it?
Yeah, it's funny because like Impact, when you say that, Impact did a thing back when Lashley was at Impact just before Drew McIntyre went over there. His storyline was that he wanted all the belts. He didn't care what the belt was. He just wanted it. So so he was running about, and I think he had like the X Division belt, and he had a World Championship belt, and then he was like, "Right, you're going to be my partner, and we're going to get the tag belt." And he was just like, he ended up just like every single belt Lashley had it on him at one point. It was crazy. Um, but I see what you're saying, but I think even if you have, obviously I like Drew McIntyre as the world champion, but you can have him drop it for a bit. Come on, he's always going to be there or thereabouts. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
I know. I get that. Like I say, I mean, I think Sheamus and Drew, obviously, they are going to have a match at some point. They're definitely building to that.
well, yeah, Drew
And I
McIntyre just
think
got his head broad kicked off, didn't he? So,
no, they made up. They went for a pint.
well, after he got his head broad kicked off,
I don't think he get broke. I
he
think
did. I,
I I think what happened was, if I remember right, it went backstage and they were like fighting with each other. They were like brawling, and then somebody tried to separate them, so they teamed up and put them through a table, and then they started laughing. And he was like, "Drinks on you. Let's go for a pint," and they both walked out together.
yeah, because they were doing a tag team match, and Sheamus went for the brogue kick, and whoever it was, I can't even remember who they were fighting. It might have been, I think it might have been Miz and Morrison, you know that. And
Maybe.
then he ducked out the way, and he got his head booted clean off. And I was like, oh, here we go. Well, there we go. There's another tag team actually, Miz and Morrison. They're just focusing on this Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I know. It's annoying. Like I say, I mean, the thing with McIntyre and Sheamus is they're very believable because they have been friends for years. It's there's truth to the storyline, which I think always makes storylines better if you can find some truth in it. These guys have been friends for years and years, so I think it's one of the sort of few times that would work.
Mhm.
But I don't like the idea of them making a habit of it. I wanted to point out that the idea of having the world champion teaming up with whoever they're going to have a match with and then winning the world tag team belts, especially when they're not, like, see if they don't get on, like for example with the whole Rollins Braun Strowman thing. They should never have worked well together as a tag team. I get they're two really good single stars,
Yeah.
but they should never have worked well together as a tag team because they've got totally different styles. They have never liked each other, and all of a sudden they're winning. They're winning the world tag team belts.
Yeah.
Those belts should be on tag teams who are actually really good and have worked for years as a tag team and have perfected the art of tag team wrestling. And I think the problem with WWE is I don't think Vince McMahon really appreciates tag team wrestling for what it is. I think he looks at it as, oh, it's just two guys instead of one, and it's not as simple as that because there is a specific art to tag team wrestling. Um,
Yeah, well, in my eyes, there is no greater finishing move than a double team tag team move. Like,
oh yeah,
when you think about it, like when you think about like obviously like the Shatter Machine and the 3D and all these moves, they're much.
Shower Machine's a nasty ass move.
It's nasty.
The flapjack code breaker. It's nasty.
I know,
Or
and
what is it they call it now? I think is it the Goodnight Express or something?
yeah,
Because they're not allowed to use Shatter Machine.
yeah, it's crazy though. Like the 3D is just a flapjack cutter like RKO. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
no,
And like it's just like it's good. See when you've got a team that have like you can tell they've worked together like for a long time, for years and years, and they just flow. Oh, are we losing you?
no, sorry, I was just yawning.
Oh,
Jason's
oh,
really boring to
I
listen
know. I was
to.
going to say, hopefully that's just you and not the viewers.
Only when you're talking, mate.
I am the face of this. I'm only joking.
Oh, really? Is that right? You're the face of Shoot the Work. How many Shoot the Work T-shirts found at Redbubble? Do you own, Jason?
Well, I'm
Because
like
I
maybe
own one.
you own one.
I own one.
Wow.
I own an official Shoot the Work T-shirt
I
on
have
Redbubble.
I have a sticker from
Yeah,
Redbubble.
yeah, which I got you. I paid for the sticker.
Can I just say, buy now on Redbubble? There we go.
But anyway, moving swiftly on
Swiftly
from
on.
Jason being a dick. Um,
Now that we know that I'm the champ that runs the camp, you know what I
Look,
mean?
right. That's plenty.
I'm only
Listen, let me
joking.
ask you this real quick.
Yep.
Let me ask
Ask
you
me.
something real quick.
Oh, ask me.
Who is both your favorite tag team currently and your favorite tag team of all time?
Oh, oh. Right. So I can say of all time, it's got to be the Hardys. I grew up on them. Um,
It's fair. That's fair.
right now, tag team. Who do I like?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's quite a few, and they're in different companies. So I like the Good Brothers, and
That was good.
I like FTR,
Yeah.
but also like Street Profits. So I think out of the three brands, that's my favorite. Each company.
I'd say Hardys, yeah, I'd probably agree with the Hardys because I do really like them. Like for all time favorite team.
Well,
Because
you're gonna go to Young Bucks. I know this actually because you're at AEW, Mark. How could I forget about the Young Bucks?
the Young Bucks. Yeah, I'd say favorite tag team just now. Yeah, the Young Bucks. And do you know, right? I didn't realize how controversial this opinion was because apparently a lot of people really don't like them. Because I was talking to the other guys that write the news for Hooked on Wrestling the other day about the Young Bucks, and a lot of them don't like the Young Bucks. They like totally hate them, and I was
What is
quite.
it? What is it that they've got against them?
I think they just think that they're overrated and and all these sort of different things that. And I mean, I do kind of get the whole. I get why some people don't like them, just because they do have a very specific way about them. Um, but I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Spot Fest. As somebody who's listened to this podcast, any of the other episodes that we've done, and hear me talking about it, you'll know that one, I'm a massive AEW mark, and two, I'm a Spot Monkey. Like I just love it. It's so cool, and the Young Bucks are so good at doing it. And I see a lot of people talking about, oh well, the make super kicks look like a transitional move and all these different things, but at the end of the day, wrestling nowadays, no move is protected. Like apart from like very few, like the Tombstone and the One Winged Angel, the Paradigm Shift, those sorts of moves are protected, but transitional moves. I mean, the same people that complain about the Young Bucks using super kicks in all their matches are the same people that will jump for joy every time Dolph Ziggler does it. Do you
Well,
know what I
that's the
mean?
thing that what I've got to say to these people that say that they overuse super kicks. Have they ever watched the Usos? Ever? Like,
Ex- exactly, exactly. The Usos are good. I like
yeah,
the
I
Usos as
like the
well.
Usos.
They are very good. Jey Uso, holy shit! Who knew he was that good as a single star and on the mic? Like, holy crap!
I know.
Because the only see the thing is when you ask me about the Usos with their like mic skills, I always just think back to that really awkward rap battle they had with the New Day, and I think, oh, they're not that good.
No,
But
I like them
he's
on
really
the
shone.
I liked them on the mic when they started bringing out the Uso Penitentiary. That's when I was.
Welcome.
Yep. And then Jay, I understand that his brother's injured. I get that. And then they tried to make him shine as a singles guy. Now they're just burying the shit out of him. I don't like it.
I wouldn't say they're burying him. Do you know
Oh,
what? Did you see him at Survivor Series? I mean, I get he lost, but he put on a hell of a show, and he fought off that whole team on his own.
Yeah, they're just feeding them to Kevin Owens repeatedly for
Yeah, I get that, but
for
I
the
think
gain
that's
of
more.
the Roman Reigns feud. Like,
Yeah,
and it makes him. I'm like, yeah, in my opinion, it makes him look like a little bitch.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I kind of like what they're doing with Jey Uso just now because obviously his whole sort of thing was that he had all this heart, all this fire, this will to fight, and that's when he was really good. But then he lost to Roman, which losing to Roman Reigns isn't anything you should be ashamed of, especially if you put on a fight like he did. But
Yeah,
I think the whole sort of thing they're going with now is that he lost to Roman, so he's lost. He quit. He literally both figuratively and literally quit in that match. I think the whole thing that they're doing now is he's lost his fight. He's lost his will to fight because he get beat, and I think it's clever storytelling because he's still being painted as a good fighter. He's still putting up a fight, but he's losing. He's like a secondary boss character in like a video game.
yeah,
See, like that sort of mini boss that's
yeah,
it's quite tough. He could get you if you're not playing well, but realistically you can beat him fairly easily and then you move on to the big
yeah.
boss,
Are we
which
are we
is Roman.
waiting on his brother coming back so that we can have the full Samoan table?
I honestly do think that when Jeremy comes back, they're going to win the tag belts off of Street Profits. I think they're going to beat Street Profits when whatever he's.
Is it yeah? Is it going to be one of
So
those faction dynamics where one's got the world title and the other two have got the tag?
I'm alright with that. See, this is the
Yeah,
thing as well, because the problem that I think they sometimes make whenever they do that in like a faction is that well whoever's got the tag belts then eventually want a singles belt for themselves. It's like why though? Why would they? They've got a
yeah.
world
They
championship.
don't have to. No, they really don't. Like
They don't do
undisputed
it. They don't always
undisputed
do it.
era, like when they're four, obviously the fourth guy goes for the other singles title. But whenever there are three, then the other two always have the tag titles. They're always going for them. So I don't see you don't have to always want a singles title if you're in a tag team. Like,
Yeah, well, that's. I was when I was saying that I was thinking about Undisputed Era because that was a perfect example of what I mean. Is that was done so well because you had Roderick Strong who had the North American title, you had Adam Cole who had the world title, and you had Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly who were the tag
yeah,
team champions. But obviously you have the fabulous Freebird rule where if, for example, when Bobby Fish got injured and Roderick Strong was, I can't remember what happened, he wasn't at a show, and Adam Cole was the North American champion, he had to fight in the North American defend his North American championship, but then he also then teamed with Kyle O'Reilly to defend the tag titles
yeah,
because he had to because there was no other members of the stable there. And
yeah,
I think it's an interesting sort of dynamic as well when
yeah,
you have Cole, it shows where his loyalties lie. Is
yeah.
he going to help his teammates out, or is he going to be selfish and just defend his title but then piss off for the tag titles?
Well, yeah, and I think if you actually go back to the state of WWE, I think their regrets are if you look at who they let go. So they
Mm.
let FTR and the Good Brothers go, two of
Yeah,
your best tag teams. You as we've said in previous podcasts, you made one the best tag team in the world and then got rid of them. Um,
yeah.
and
I
then
know that's so strange.
and
The way
then
that
oh sorry.
sorry, no, I was just going to say the way that they did the Good Brothers was really strange because they literally did name them the best tag team in the entire world. Had them doing really well. They were getting pushed. They were involved in the whole Undertaker match at Mania. They were doing all these different things, and then just all of a sudden they were like, nah, we don't need them anymore.
Yeah, it's
What?
crazy. And then when you do that, so you get rid of your two arguably your best tag teams because at the time you had those two and then you had the Usos and the New Day and that was pretty much it in the bar and that was you. That's a good start though as a tag division. And
Yeah,
then you got rid of one of your two best and then And then on top of that, the very few tag teams that you've got left, I was like, oh, then they've brought Heavy Machinery up underneath them. And I was like, okay, that works. So at least you've got a replacement. And then you split them up. Uh, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you building up these tag teams just to split them up and still have no tag division? It's
No,
just,
no.
it's nuts. And at least AEW, not that I watch like a great deal of it, and I really should. Again, annoyed that I don't, because every time I do watch any of it, I do enjoy it. So, but
I know. I've
they,
been telling you for ages to just watch it.
yeah, they do it right. They actually do it, and like the funny thing is that the WWE seem to think a good tag team is two like well-known guys. You don't have to. Like AEW, they've just brought up, as I seen the match they had their newer tag team Top Flight, and
Yeah, Top Flight are really good.
I don't know who they are, but I know they're really good by watching them. And I want to watch them some more when I watch them. So I don't.
Do you know, see the younger guy in Top Flight? He's only 19.
What?
Yeah, I know. He's younger than me.
Wow. Wow, what was he been wrestling like since he was two? Like, is
It's
he
like
so
that.
good?
I feel the same way I felt when that 19-year-old scored the first goal in the World Cup.
Uh-huh.
The
Yeah.
19-year-old who played for England, and I was like, ah, hate you.
I know. That's the funny thing about sports people that I'm 27 right now nearly, and in sports terms,
Are you?
yeah, I'm nearly 27. I know I look five for YouTube, but I'm nearly 27 in February. Yep, I'm 27,
Ah,
and
all right. I at first I misheard you. I thought you said you were 27.
oh
I
no,
was
I'm
like,
nearly
since
27,
when?
and
I know, because I thought you meant you were about to turn 28, and I was like, wait,
wow.
no.
No. But what I was going to say is that right now, in the eyes of sports and wrestling and all that sort of thing, I should be at my peak. I should only have like 5 years left, and then I'm done. You know what I
You're
mean?
and listen, for all you listeners there, as someone who knows Jason personally, let me tell you, he is far from his physical peak.
Physical peak. Look at it.
he peaks at about 5'2".
You can't teach that.
He's 5 foot tall, and you can't teach that.
Yeah, it just makes me sad because I feel like I'm still quite young, and then you actually look at it on paper and you're like, not so young.
It's funny though, because do you know what I was just thinking there? What episode is this? Is this episode 13
Yeah.
that we're on? So say right, so that's 13 episodes, average about an hour per episode. So we've managed to get a whole 13 hours of talking without me insulting your height, and that's me just broke that. But that's got to be a record, because I don't think I've ever went that long without insulting your height.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'm
what
glad I
happens.
finally brought it to the
As soon
podcast.
as soon as we stop hitting record, he just attacks me. He's a bully.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Just verbally abuse him over Skype.
Don't worry, I know
Leave
my
him,
rule.
leave him a crying mess. Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Anyway, what I was saying before I got rudely interrupted by height jokes was the AEW are doing it right, but I think AEW are doing it right because I think the way of wrestling is different now. Like I think you like spots. I like a spot fest as well, and that's why we like NXT and AEW over the main roster. And
Yeah.
I think maybe Vince McMahon needs to realize this and adapt and actually like maybe book more spot fests. Like he does it for singles matches, or if if a match has props, like if it's a ladder match or a table match or like whatever kind of match, then he does a spot fest. But when he's doing tag teams, he hardly ever does any sort of stipulation matches. It's usually just straight tag team match.
I know, even something simple like the whole, like I love like a tornado tag match. I think it was. originally called the Texas Tornado Tag Team Match, where they're both in the ring,
At the same
everybody's in
time.
the ring at the same time. I really like that. I think it's really cool because then it takes away this whole weird thing that they've got where sometimes their partner will like get involved and break up a pinfall or do whatever, but then sometimes they won't. And it's like, well, why you not? Why would you not? Like, if you're allowed to, why would you ever not help? It
Well,
just doesn't really make sense.
that's the funny thing is that I think the way, like, I know it's wrestling, but I think the way the rules said, I don't actually think you're supposed to, because
No, you're not.
as soon as you break it up, the refs just like, you get out right now, like, oh.
Yeah,
um,
but they're supposed to. I think they're supposed to have 5 seconds. So they're allowed to be in the ring, and then they get like the count of five, and them to be back out the ring.
yeah, that's the funny thing though, is that apparently WWE, this is just apparently because I don't, as I said, I'm not an inner workings guy at WWE, I don't know. But from what I've read is that Vince McMahon's very, very strict on his tag team rules, is that like you've got 5 seconds and you need to be out in your 5 seconds. And like, you know what I mean? Where EW will stretch it and other companies will stretch it and you'll like, yeah, you're maybe in like 6 or 7 seconds. But I don't care because you did a really cool move. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Plus, I mean, the thing is as well. I do sort of get both sides of the argument, and it goes back to like what I was saying about the Young Bucks. Like, did you ever see that the 8-man tag? I think it was 8-man, where they did all the suplexes. So they had all of them all joined up together, and they did a big like 8-man suplex, and people were bitching about it because they were like, well, but they're clearly you can tell that they're like trying to set that move up. You're
Yeah,
just doing that for a spot. You're taking away
yeah,
the whole thing of wrestling, and it's like, but it was really cool. Like, see, at
yeah,
the moment watching it, I was like, oh my god, there's more.
yeah,
Oh, there's two more just joined. Oh my god, they just suplex everybody at the same time, and
yeah,
then it's only when I then go back and watch it when I've already seen it, and I'm thinking about it critically that I'm like, oh yeah, you can see him setting up that spot. Oh yeah, you can see him
yeah,
there. But it's like that's all right because
yeah,
at in this day and age, everybody knows everybody knows that wrestling's not real. Like everybody knows that these are spots.
yeah. Well,
Excuse me.
TNA
Everybody
were the
knows that it's all set up. So
yeah,
if it leads to a cool moment that in the moment you're like, oh my god, that was awesome, then that's okay. There's
yeah,
nothing wrong with that. And if you don't like that, that's okay as well. Which is why I say I do get why people don't like it. But if you don't like it, go watch NWA. Stop bitching about it. Like, go watch one of these companies that do classic wrestling. Go watch The North, or any of these, or FTR. These teams that do the sort of classic on the mat wrestling.
yeah.
That's fine.
Uh-huh.
That's who you like. But I don't. I personally find that quite boring. I would rather see 10 super kicks, one after the other, where we counter in the bottom corner, and a 8-man suplex, because that's just what I like.
Yeah, well, I was going to say TNA, like, were the first company that I seen used to do that in tag team matches. They used to always call it, the commentator used to always call it the Tower of Doom. And, like, there would be, like, a guy up the top rope, and then somebody would go up and try and suplex him, and then, like, the guy would go underneath him and be, like, go to powerbomb him. So you've got, like, a guy powerbomb and a guy suplexing, and it was just nuts. Um,
Yeah.
and, like, I don't mind that, but that's the funny thing, is that people act like a spot fest tag team match is crazy. It's mind blowing. Like how can that happen? Like it's never happened. As I was saying to you, like just when before we started, is that I grew up on. Oh, hang on, my mic just muted there for no reason. But I grew up on the Hardys and the Dudleys and Edge and Christian that were doing spot fest matches in the year 2000. So spot fest tag team matches have been 20 years. Come on, guys.
Exactly. This is the thing, because the issue that I take with it, and why I would argue the point that the Young Bucks are one of the best, and these sorts of things, why I don't really like a lot of the criticism that they get, is because you see it, like for example, with that big suplex that they did. The biggest criticism that they had was that, oh, you could tell they were setting it up. You could tell beforehand. You could see them. They're all, joining up and they're setting up this big move, and it doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't happen in a real fight. But then the people that watch that will also be the people that go, oh, TLC, the matches with the Hardys and the Dudleys and Edge and Christian, they were so amazing, so amazing. But it's like, right, okay, so I'm guessing if you like that, you like the spot where Jeff Hardy's hanging from the titles and Edge jumps and spears him, right? Yeah, classic spot, amazing. You think that if watching that back, if you watch the actual full match and not just a little bit where he does it, you can tell they're setting that up. Because they set the ladder up in the corner.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy then swings round and Edge is just standing there. And instead of, letting go, jumping down to safety and attacking Edge, he just hangs there for Edge to spear him.
Yeah.
Or even like...
I'm pretty sure, like, don't quote me on it because it's been ages since I've seen it, but I'm pretty sure there's a Dudley underneath him.
I don't know for that one. I don't think there was, because I think he just speared him straight down.
Yeah.
But I mean, you think about it as well, like another good example of what a lot of these people will claim that they love while simultaneously criticizing the Young Bucks for setting up big spots is the War Games match where they had the two Tower of Dooms at the same time, and they had Adam Cole firmly in the middle.
Oh yeah.
And they all done it, and Adam Cole's just sitting there and he just goes like that. It's absolutely amazing. It's a great spot. But you can tell they're setting it up because they have all the tables set up and then they're all getting into position and everybody's doing their part. It's dangerous. It's a big spot that's going to get a big reaction, but it's dangerous. So you're going to see them setting it up to make sure that they don't break their neck.
That's the thing. It's
such a stupid criticism to have.
This is professional wrestling. Like any match that's got props in it, even if it's a one-on-one tables match, you see them, they're brawling. The guy goes, right, I'm going to set up this table and I'm going to put it right here. And then he doesn't use the table for like another 15 minutes. He's setting it up.
Yeah, and I mean, even you're saying like matches with props, even ones without props. Go watch any John Cena match, and you will hear him tell the other wrestler exactly what to do, like as they're doing it. And we're like, right, throw me to the corner, throws him to the corner. Right, do a low blow, does a low blow. Do a clothesline, does a close. It's like, because it's a work. Everybody knows. There's certain things in wrestling that if you're going to be a fan of wrestling, you're just going to need to accept.
Yeah.
But the problem is, people want to pick and choose. They'll accept it if it's somebody they like or if it's the promotion that they like, and then they'll criticize it if it's somebody else.
Yeah.
So they'll praise NXT, praise Undisputed Era, praise all these guys for doing it at War Games, but fuck the Young Bucks because we don't like them. And fuck AEW, and it's so irritating, and it's such like a toxic thing in the sort of wrestling fan base, and there's just no need for it because it's just like, well, either watch it and enjoy it, or if you don't enjoy it, don't watch it. That's really that simple.
Yeah, well, I'm a wrestling fan, and I never really criticize matches.
No shit, Sherlock.
well, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't, of course. I would be on Nibs of Wrestling if I wasn't.
People don't even know what that is yet.
We told them. They know what's coming. Yeah, stay tuned for that, by the way, guys. Cheap plug. Right, so anyway, as I was saying, as a fan of wrestling, if I criticize wrestling, it's a storyline that I don't like. It's a match that I don't like, and mainly because it was either one, boring, or two, botched to death. And that's the only time I complain about a match.
Yeah.
But then people, like, as you said, pick and choose, like, oh, I don't like this, and that wasn't realistic. And if you want realistic, then go watch UFC or boxing. You know what I mean? Like,
or even like I say, if you want realistic wrestling, go watch NWA. Because NWA does realistic pro wrestling. They they do your sort of classic on the mat wrestling.
Yeah,
That's it. If you like the old stuff, that's fine. That's what you
yeah.
like. Go watch NWA. You know, that's like the old '60s wrestling back
Wrestling's
in
the
the
one.
back in the territories and all that sort of stuff. That's the kind of thing you like. That's okay. That's
Yeah,
fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Go watch that then. Don't watch AEW and then criticize it because you don't like it. Like that's your fault. You're the one that's watching it. If you don't like it, don't watch it. It's really that simple.
yeah.
But anyway, we've got way off topic here. In terms of tag teams, I think another company that is doing their tag teams pretty well is Impact. Just I know we kind of touched on it earlier, but they've got a lot of really great tag teams at the moment.
I don't
You
watch
know,
enough
from
of it. I'm trying to think of other ones other than the Good Brothers. To be fair,
there's come on, you're supposed to be the TNA guy, Jason.
I know
Come
I
on.
was the TNA guy, not the Impact Wrestling guy. You know what I mean?
But wasn't it the Impact Zone for TNA?
So it was TNA Impact, but then TNA went kind of bust, and then it's just Impact now.
So you've got the Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh
They're
yeah,
there.
how could I
Yeah.
forget? I also
Oh.
know about. I don't know why he's like had a sort of second coming because I don't know why he's turned out to be so good. But they've got Callahan and Ken Shamrock as his partner.
Yeah.
And see, to be honest, I know what you're thinking. Your face tells me exactly what my face was doing when I heard Ken Shamrock was on the card. You know what I mean? And I watched him face
Yeah.
Sammy Callahan, and he's actually better than he was when he was fighting The Rock in the Attitude Era. It's crazy. I don't know what's happened to him.
No, I know. I remember when what was the sort of big card that they had where they ended up bringing back all the WWE wrestlers. So the one that like the Good
Slammiversary?
Brothers and
Or was it
yeah,
the
Slammiversary.
Slammiversary?
That's
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so where they brought all these guys over, like EC3 and all these guys that showed up. I remember that was the sort of first time that I'd heard Impact were, quite big again. That was the first time I'd even paid any attention to Impact since Matt Hardy was there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I remember looking at the Slammiversary card because I think I actually did the article, the news article for Hooked On. I did the Slammiversary like full card preview. And as I was typing it up, I was on like reading what the card was to type it up, and I saw Sammy Callahan and Ken Shamrock, and I was like, "What is that like his? Is that like his son or something?" And I went and checked, and it was like, "No, it's actually Ken Shamrock, the like 60-year-old guy who's like
Yeah.
still really muscly, but has all this like loose skin because he's really old now,
Yeah.
and he's fighting with Sammy Callahan, the weird gothic hacker guy." He's
Yeah.
like half goth, half nerd. No,
I've got to have nerd. Is that not you?
no, half. I misspoke. Half goth, half Ned.
Oh, right, sorry. That's what I was going to say. Half goth, half nerd is definitely you, my friend.
That's me.
Yeah, no, but you're right though, and I seen that card as well, and I was like, and it was like right high up in the card. It was like almost main event, and I was like,
Is that for the tag titles?
no, they end up being a tag team afterwards. This was just a fight that they had between themselves, and now they're buddies, enemies turned buddies. But
No,
uh,
they were a tag team at this match. I'm sure.
oh, were they? Was this
Yeah.
anniversary? Because I know they were fighting each other before, but they had a match before that, and I was like, Ken Shamrock really not interested in this 60-year-old guy, and then he
No,
actually,
they were fighting for the tag team titles at Slammiversary. So Ken Shamrock and Sammy Callahan get defeated by the North for the Impact tag team titles.
oh yeah, the North are pretty good as well.
The
Actually,
North are really good. They do. I think they broke up though.
did they break them
The
up?
Final Resolution. I think last night they broke them up at Final Resolution. So spoiler. Sorry for anyone who's not watched it yet. But yeah, I'm sure they broke them up last night.
I like that. You're meant to say spoiler before you say it. Broke them up. Spoiler. Oh man, but yeah, Motor City Machine Guns as well. Like
Yeah.
they're pretty good as well. I wasn't sure how they would be because I've not seen Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin in a lot of time. Like I didn't even know how they would be. Um, but yeah, they've got a good tag team division. Can I just ask though? So when in independent wrestling terms, right? Usually it was like obviously WWE was your main guys, and then AEW are just new. But outside of that, it was either Impact. What has happened to ROH? I've never heard of them in a long, long time.
Yeah, Ring of Honor's it's there. I guess I don't think they're really making too much wave at the moment. Um,
Because they had lots of they all ended up in NXT to be fair, but at one point they had like recently they had Adam Cole before he was NXT. They had Jay Lethal was
Cody.
the yep, Jay Lethal was the champ for like it was like a year longer than that. Um
Yeah, I don't actually. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. Uh,
yeah, pull that up.
I know I don't want the commentators.
uh, yeah, pull up a quick roster check for me.
You go. Let me. I'll just scrolling through the roster just now on my phone to see if I recognize any. EC3 apparently fight is works for them. Jay Lethal's still there. Joe Hendry works for them.
Oh, Joe Hendry. Watched him live.
Ah, Marty Scurll. Marty Scroll's
Marty
there.
Scurll.
He's good. I like Marty Scurll.
He's one of those that everybody talks about him in such high regard, and then you actually don't see him anywhere outside of like ROH.
Was there not a thing though? So not a speaking out thing with him. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was. We'll not go into that. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Um, let's not go there. You've got Angelina Love. She's there.
Wow, I remember her.
Yeah, she's good. I like it. Ah, Mike Bennett as well. Mike Bennett's there.
He was really, really pushed in TNA, and then
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah, because he did quite well in Japan as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he was meant to be really, really good. Like because they had him as like a really annoying heel in TNA. Like you never ever wanted him to win any of his matches ever, and he used to always find a way, and it was so annoying.
Like, Rajit. Or the beat Rajit challenge. That's funny. An Impact just now. There's this guy. He's got the X Division Championship, and he's doing like a thing just now where he calls it the beat Rajit challenge,
Mhm.
and it's like empty, regardless of who they are, man, woman, anyone can fight him for the X Division title, but if they lose to him, they can't challenge him again.
Oh,
Um,
it's a cool dynamic. I like it.
Yeah, so it's been quite interesting because you've had all these challenges kind of come out and be like, I want a shot. They get a shot. I think they did a championship scramble match where they had like TJP and then they also had like Jordan Grace in the match and Willie Mack and all this. But he ends up winning and he's like a slimy little dick because he ends up winning anyway and he's like, haha, I'm good. But then
Mhm.
TJP brought back the Manic character, which is
Oh yeah, suicide, but yeah.
Suicide, yeah.
Mhm.
So TJP had already lost to him, but wanted another shot, and Rajit was like, no. So then he came out as Manic and beat him last night.
Nice. Um, yeah. I was going to say, if you're watching anybody on Impact, Eli Drake is the man. His mic skills are unreal. Eli Drake.
Suppose we've really kind of went off
We
topic
have
again,
we
but
have we've
you
ended
think
up talking about the singles stars, but like as what we're basically saying, I think in a nutshell, is that WWE two little tag teams probably need to join together to make one larger division. Uh,
yeah,
and that from what we've been saying, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to speak for you, but sounds like we've both sort of maybe agreed that WWE are maybe stuck in an older style of tag team wrestling.
yeah, I wouldn't even call it an older style because I don't think they've ever really done that the way that they do tag teams now. Because obviously, tag teams used to be, even in WWE, the tag team division was very highly regarded. I mean, you think back in the day of, like, your Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys and the Dudleys, or even before that, going way back to, like, the Hart Foundation, the Fabulous
Yeah.
Freebirds, the Von Erichs, these really, really amazing tag teams. None of them were off doing other, like, things, and even if they were, it was like a whole thing, like with like Owen Hart and Bret Hart. That whole storyline was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
But then you still had like Davy Boy Smith and Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Yeah.
You had the sort of big factions, but I think now the problem is they don't have tag team matches. They have simultaneous singles matches. I think that's the problem, is because they don't look at it as a unit working together. It's more you have one guy, he'll come in, he'll fight for a little bit, and then he'll tag out, and the other guy will come in and do his little bit. Whereas you look at the likes of like AEW, the way that the Young Bucks and FTR do it, where it is a continuous, all four of them are always involved in the match because it's a tag team match.
Well,
They're
yeah.
working as a team.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. Remember, like, obviously back in the day, you used to always have like you used to have like one of them like cutting off the ring and stuff like that, like just one of them beating them down constantly, and then they would have the comeback, and you know what I mean. For me, it's all went a bit kind of boring. It's all very same.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes from the fact that we're seeing the same tag teams just fight each other and over again.
Yeah.
Um,
To be
but
honest, what would maybe prick my interest would be more just in today's sort of spot fest sort of mentality. What is it?
prick your interest.
Yep, it would. Have you never heard that phrase
Do you,
before?
do you mean pique your interest?
No, I don't.
Are you sure?
Yep, I'm rolling with that.
Okay, prick. Carry on.
It's not going to peak anything. It's just going to prick it. so,
Okay,
so
carry on
yep,
with your interest pricked.
yep. Well, it's not quite yet. It would be if they started doing some like stipulation matches, more like I've not seen a good old tag team cage match in a while, or like you know what I mean, or a table match, or like something like that, just to get me kind of going. Like, cause
Yeah.
something a bit more outside the box than we're going to have the New Day versus like Cesaro and Nakamura again, or like you know
I know.
the new tag team on the block is Bobby Roode and Ziggler, because they've never got anything for Ziggler. So who's your new tag team like guy that you're gonna be with? Like
Yeah, I think he is back with Bobby Roode.
he is, but
Yeah.
like it's kind of like they'll split them up and they're like, guess
No.
what, Ziggler? We still have got nothing for you. So here's this guy, your new tag team partner. Like,
I know. I wonder whose random tag team partner will be next.
I know.
Maybe
Poor
we'll join Retribution. But I get, there you go, Retribution, another prime example of a faction that could, send to go and be tag team champions. So dumb, man.
Uh,
But nah, I think it'll be interesting to see though the whole working relationship with Impact and AEW. If we can finally see the Young Bucks versus the Good Brothers, or the
yeah.
Young Bucks versus Motor City Machine Guns, or even the one I'm really excited for, FTR versus the North. Even though the North broke up, but if they don't, if they get back together and fight FTR, that'd be great.
We broke you up last week, but you're getting back together to fight this week. No, but that's going to be quite cool because they're going to have like like Sting do a crossover probably. Sting's going to be in both, man.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, it'd be interesting as well to see like Impact tag teams challenge for the AEW World Titles, and vice versa. Have like Top Flight challenge the Good Brothers.
Ah, Are they going to have like a Survivor Series between the two of them?
I don't think so.
Like champ versus champ, and then maybe a Survivor Series match.
Do you know? I would just. It sucks. Like it's really the whole thing is really really cool,
Oh
and I'm
yeah.
loving the whole thing with Kenny Omega. You know, saying that he's going to go to all the companies and win all the belts. I'm loving it because I'm a massive Kenny Omega mark. More above all else, I love Kenny Omega because he's just the best wrestler in the world. But I digress. My point is the reason that it also sucks is because WWE won't be involved in it because they just won't work with other companies, and the level of money they would make and the amount it would do for the wrestling business and for the fans, for getting attention on the product, for everything. If WWE opened the doors and did what AEW and Impact are doing, work with them, share the talent, do it the way that they used to do it, that would just be incredible. I don't think they're going to.
Yeah.
Well, Vince McMahon wouldn't. I think Triple H would, but Vince McMahon won't.
I don't
And
know.
that just sucks.
Vince McMahon worked with ECW before they actually went bust. So
Yeah, but only because he knew he was because he had Paul Heyman wrapped around his little finger for a start. But you look at,
yeah,
I think the better comparison is for AEW. I wouldn't say is ECW because they always had a sort of working relationship, and ECW was never a legit threat to WWE.
well, yeah.
But
To be
if you
fair,
look
looking
at
at
what happened with WCW,
yeah,
they would have never worked together.
yeah. Well, yeah. To be fair, I was going to say that actually the ultimate goal was we'll bring on ECW so that we can both put WCW under. So I suppose there was that, but yeah, WWE they wouldn't do it unless there was some sort of gain to them, which there's not going to be because it's only going to elevate AEW.
Well, I don't know because it would make them a shit ton of money.
But they would probably be scared that it's going to make AEW look better than them. Um,
AEW already look better than them. This is the thing. I do agree with you. I know they're not going to do it, but
yeah.
the problem is, it's for me. It just seems like it's out of sheer pettiness. Because you can justify it any which way you want, but at the end of the day, it would make them a lot of money. It would get them a lot of attention. They'd sell a whole bunch of merchandise for it. It would be the best thing to ever happen in wrestling. We would talk about it literally for as long as people are talking about wrestling. We would talk about the day that Vince McMahon opened his doors and started working with other companies.
No,
That would go down as like a major event in all of wrestling history. But he won't do it because he's too
no,
petty,
no. I was
and
going to
that's it.
say, are you actually openly coming out on this podcast and saying that Vince McMahon is petty?
I
Really?
know. I know. I know. It's like in other news, water is wet, but
I know. I
no,
know.
no. But that's what I'm saying. That's my point. Is that it sucks that he is like that because it would be incredible if he would do it, and he won't do it simply because he's petty, and
Well,
he won't. Like you say, I think it is. In his mind, he'll not think about the money he'll make and all this sort of stuff, and how great it would be, and how much it would please the fans. All he'll be thinking is, oh yeah, but it'll make AEW look good. And also, he would never let any AEW guy go over a WWE guy. Could you
no.
imagine? He would never sign off on Kenny Omega beating Seth Rollins or beating Roman Reigns. There's no way in hell that would
Yeah.
ever happen.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, we want like we want FTR to come back and beat the New Day or beat like never happening. Like he would never do
Nah.
that. That's the thing though. For the state of tag team wrestling, let's have one huge, ginormous tag team tournament that's got all the companies together. Just every one of them. Just that would be it.
You just love a tag team tournament.
That's
You just like a tournament. That's
tournaments.
every single time we've done one of these episodes where we talk about titles, you always just say, do a tournament though. And it's always your go-to suggestion.
I would be
Yeah,
really
but they could like do a tournament.
I would be really great on like some creative team, you know what I mean? Like, so what could we do? I'm like, just me in the back, like we could do a tournament.
Like you in the back with a doobie like, you could do a tournament.
You know what would be right good about now? A
You
tournament.
would be really cool, bro. A tournament.
Shut up. I'm not like some sort of Vince Russo. Right, bro. We need
Nah,
it.
nah, I wasn't going for a Vince Russo, I was going for a Matt Riddle.
I'm not Riddle.
Yeah, bro. Bro. Anyway. But yeah, I think that's a decent place to wrap up because
Yeah.
I'm tired and this has been stressful and we've got really off topic. But yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
We
but yeah,
did
if you
we did sort of talk about tag teams, kind of.
yeah, yeah, we did a little bit. If you made it this far into mine and Jason's incoherent ramblings, we do appreciate it. Please tell your friends. You know, we're here all week. Tip your waitresses and whatnot. But I don't know. I've kind of lost it. I'm very tired.
Tip your waitresses, guys.
Yeah, but
Yeah. What I think he's trying to say is that we're still on Facebook and Spotify and all this
yeah,
stuff, all these
we're
outlets.
literally
And
we're on everything now. We're
yeah,
on we're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're on Redbubble selling merch. Yeah, we're on loads of stuff.
yeah,
Oh, also, other thing as well worth mentioning. If you are a fan of our podcast and you like the whole sort of fantasy booking thing, you should check out another podcast called Making Kayfabe. It's two guys that followed me on Twitter. I was telling Jason about this. They do a very similar podcast. It's a Scottish guy and an Irish guy, but they do a bit more in depth, like actual rebooking instead of they don't really discuss it as much. They go through exactly, week by week what they would do. So if you like that sort of stuff, be sure to check them out because
yeah,
they're pretty cool.
yeah.
Plus they're fellow Scotsmen. So
But in regards to us, there's three things that we like. We like likes, shares, and comments. That's what we love.
we love those. And also for our Twitter people, likes, shares, and retweets.
Oh yeah, retweets. I don't have Twitter. I don't tweet, so retweet though.
Just say tweet a little Twitter. But yeah, we're going to try and get more engagement. But yeah, if you are a fan of it and if you have any of those apps, following us on the rest of them would be appreciated. You don't have to, but if you like us on Facebook, you're as well liking us and everything else. Plus, as well, with the fact that we're now recording video and uploading to YouTube, we are also going to be able to start like posting little snippets of stuff before it goes live. So if you ever want to get a wee sneak peek at the upcoming episodes, go have a look on our Instagram and on our TikTok and all that stuff. But yeah, so I think that's about it. Unless you have anything else you want to say.
No, no. Well, I do. I've got my usual thing to say. I have been Jason.
And I have been Lewis.
And this has been
Shut
the
the work.
work.